Hello, teachers. This week is review week of Unit 7. So we had 5 sessions here, but as you know, each unit just has one key passage and one big picture question, while the Christ connection and the story point differ for each session. So it's a great week to make sure that they have the key passage memorized and the big picture question memorized. Some of the suggestions for your activities could be to re-emphasize the Christ connection, especially if during the class times it's hard to focus on that. So it could be a time to reiterate or re-emphasize how Christ connects with each of these narratives. You could also show videos from Ministry Grid, like questions for kids. We've only shown the one from session 5. And the missions videos, it focused on South Asia. And Bible story videos to review a specific one, and even practice songs together. It's also a great time to see how each of the sessions point to our unit verse and big picture question and answer. The main thing for big picture question and answer is trust, right? Why can we trust God? And I'll have that listed below. For older kids, something we could do is teach a brief summary of a session or of each session and asking how did they trust or not trust God and how does this connect to Jesus? I feel like they should be able to do this pretty well. For the younger kids, you could focus more on the emotions and similar circumstances in their lives. Like, how can we trust our parents even though we are scared? How can we trust and obey even when we don't understand why or don't want to, like washing our hands or going to a dentist or taking medicine, and try to tie it to how it looks like for us to trust God when we don't understand. And obviously, the easy activity here is to review all the memory verses from units 1 through 7 by singing them and using motions. And here I've included the link to our Google Drive with each of the songs. You'll have to navigate a little bit for each of the volumes 1, 2, 3, and each of the volumes have 3 sessions. So you should be able to navigate and find the videos there. So in Unit 7, it covered the entire book of Joshua. So the specific chapters are chapters 1 through 24. And session 1 talked about the commissioning of Joshua to be courageous to obey everything commanded. And that just means to trust God's words, like our big picture question and answer. Um, be courageous to trust God's words. And session 2 is about the defeat of Jericho and the sparing of Rahab because Israel trusted God's command. It didn't make sense, probably, to walk around the city, but they still trusted God. And Rahab trusted God by putting her life on the line for the spies. And then session 3 is about the judgment of Achan when he did not trust God. He thought gold was worth more than trusting God. And then session 4 is conquering of the land. Israel continued to trust God that he would fight for them as they engaged in battle. And the final session was Joshua's encouragement before he retires. And he's basically saying the same thing as session 1 to the Israelites. Trust God by obeying him instead of trusting in idols. And that's how we love God. So trusting God is littered throughout all 5 sessions. And these are the questions that you could ask, and these could be the answers to the question of how did this session trust in God? And here are the Christ connections for each of the sessions. And on the bottom, I've included some application questions that you could ask. How can we trust God like Joshua and the Israelites did in this week for this week? And how do we make the same mistake of Achan in our lives? And how can we not do that this week? So here are some examples for you.